Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome to another standard gameplay video, this time for a red, white or Boros Convoke deck. This deck is one of the most popular and powerful ones in standard at the moment, and there's a few different configurations of it going around, and this is my take on it. It can be quite quick, and meaning you can sometimes get out Knight-Errant of Eos on turn 2, and the way you do that is on turn 1, play either Novice Inspector, which is a 1 mana 1/2, when it ETBs you get a clue, or Voldaren Epicure, a 1 mana 1/1, and when it ETBs it deals 1 to each opponent and you create a blood token. The key thing are those artifact tokens. And then on turn 2, you Gleeful Demolition your own artifact token. Gleeful Demolition is a 1 mana destroy target artifact, but if you control the artifact, you create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. And then you play your second land, and presumably now that if that land is white, you will have 4 creatures on the battlefield, 1 spare white mana, which is enough to convoke out the Knight-Errant of Eos, and which has, when it ETBs, you look at the top 6 cards of your library, you may reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less, where X is the number of creatures that convoke Knight-Errant, and you put those cards into your hand and shuffle your library. And because you convoke it for 4, and every other creature in a deck costs less than 4, you can essentially put 2 creature cards that you reveal into your hand. That's incredibly powerful, essentially getting 5 creatures on the battlefield by turn 2, and then 2 more into your hand. So rounding out the deck, we have 2 copies of Lunarch Veteran. When another creature ETBs under your control, you gain 1 life. We'll be getting a lot of creatures into play, so we'll be gaining quite a lot of life. And it has Disturb for 2 mana, which means you can cast from your graveyard for Luminous Phantom. You can cast a Luminous Phantom from your graveyard, and instead of whenever a creature ETBs under your control, it's whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield. Then we've got Warden of Inner Sky, a 1 mana 1/2. You can tap 3 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control, and again we're going to have a lot of creatures and artifacts to put a +1/+1 counter on the Warden and Sky 1. And if it has 3 or more counters on it, it has Flying and Vigilance. This can get quite big quite quickly. And then in the 2 drops we have 4 copies of Resolute Reinforcements, a 2 mana 1/1 with Flash, but when it ETBs you create another 1/1 white soldier. So another way to get 2 bodies onto the battlefield. We do have 1 copy of Case of the Gateway Express. When it ETBs, you choose a creature you don't control, and then each creature you control deals 1 damage to that creature. It's just an extra removal spell. This slot is more the flexible slot. I've seen ones with Regal Bunnycorn in there. I did think about putting in Coppercoat Vanguard. In fact, I did, but then actually never drew it. And in fact, I never drew this in any of the gameplay either. But this is where you can be a bit more flexible, but I thought an extra removal spell would be quite good. And if you can solve it by attacking with 3 or more creatures, and then once solved, creature control get +1/+0. That can be quite powerful. You have a lot of creatures on the battlefield to get that pump. However, the nature of the deck is you often attack once to kill your opponent as opposed to attacking smaller. But if you have this down, you can attack with 3 creatures, although they'll probably die. Then onto the 3 drops, Sanguine Evangelist. When it ETBs or dies, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. So adds 2 bodies to the board, and you'll get another body when it dies. It also has Battle Cry, which means whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature you control gets +1/+0. It doesn't get it itself, but each other one does. Immodane's Recruiter is the real finisher of the deck. It does have an adventure for 5 mana, which creates 2/2 white knight creature tokens of vigilance. That is sometimes relevant if you've got the mana and you don't think you can get lethal by playing it as a recruiter, because the recruiter has, when it can't enter ETBs, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste till end of turn. It includes itself, so essentially it has haste. So for 3 mana you put it down, and you're going to have like 5 or 6 1/1s on the board probably, and then suddenly they become 2/1s with haste. And then War Leader's Call, an enchantment for 3. Creatures you control get +1/+1. We are going very wide in this deck, so this is a great way to pump everything. And then whenever a creature ETBs under your control, it deals 1 damage for each opponent. This really adds up quite quickly as well. And then the Knight-Errant, which we covered. Mana base is pretty standard. I do only have 1 Battlefield Forge, which is one of the pain lands. Whenever you tap it for coloured, it does 1 damage to you, just because with mono red and other aggro decks, I think hurting yourself is quite bad. your life is a resource and you're just going to get rid of it. Same for Thran Portal, and in fact if I did second again, I think I'll take Thran Portal out at all because it doesn't. Whereas Battlefield Forward can tap for colourless, Thran Portal doesn't. When it ETBs, you choose a basic land type and it is one of those lands, but it costs an additional 1 life to activate. So I've put in a 2 Inspiring Vantage, which is a quick land. It enters tapped unless you control 2 or fewer lands, and then 4 Sundown Passes, which enter tapped unless you control 2 or more lands. I've also added an extra in Iganjo and Sokenzan. Iganjo can be used as removal, and Sokenzan, if you draw it late and you don't leave a land, you can channel it to gain 2 1/1s, and this deck is all about going wide as well. So that's the deck. Hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my gameplay. We have not the fastest hand. We're lacking other 1-drops and a way to convoke out the Knight-Errant quickly, but we do have... But we are on the play, so I'll give this one a keep. We can play the Inspiring Vantage, get down the Warden. Hopefully draw into a few more 1-drops. We are against mono red. Novice Spectre is helpful. We can convoke out the Knight-Errant next turn. Not anymore. But play out the War Leader's Call. Buffs all our creatures, makes them slightly harder to kill. Not sure why they didn't play that first main phase. We will convoke out the Knight-Errant. Hopefully we can find a couple more 1/1s. Just the one. But it is a big blocker, which will be hard for mono red to get through. Hopefully, even if they're pump spells, this could kill the Swift Spear. Or maybe not. So Swift Spear's down. I'm going to keep up the Iganjo. If they pump something, we can take it out. Take out their Phoenix Chick. Another land is not what we needed. We're going to draw. Hopefully we can draw into some action. The Warden's okay. I won't tap it to grow it. I'd like something back on defense. I'm going to block just because we're at low life. It does give them, well, a land and another Feldon's not the worst thing. What we can do on our turn, get down the, well, play the adventure side to get 2 2/2s. That'll be 3 3s. And then we can grow the Warden. Epicure's a nice draw as well. So we'll grow this, tap new creatures. Don't really need another Epicure. And we won't attack, and then next turn we can get down Imadane's Recruiter and hopefully swing for lethal. Depending on what cards they've got. See, 2 Lightning Strikes just kills us. They can get 1 Lightning Strike. We are going to have to block. Where do they point it? One of the tokens is an interesting choice. Do they swing out? Seeing as they only have 1 treasure. Well, Feldon can't block, so I'm not sure if that was the correct choice, but we can get down a Merrick's token, which we can then give haste. There we go. Yeah, we had lethal on board, I'm fairly sure. And they saw that. So yeah, let's move on. We have okay hand. We can play Veteran or Warden or Epicure on turn 1 and go from there. And we have plays turn 2 and then Imadane's Recruiter can buff everything. We are on the draw as well, so hopefully we can draw into something good on turn 1. Evangelist is okay. I'll get down the Veteran. It'll probably die, but it means with all the 1-drops we have, we'll gain quite a bit of life. I'll put down Thran Portal on red. And then let's tap. These are the creatures and the artifact. Don't think we need another Evangelist. The Ganj would be quite good to remove an attacker. It looks like they're going to take out the Warden. That's a bit annoying, but... And so is that. We'll play out the Evangelist, and that way the bat can... Why did the auto tap pay? Oh, there's no way it doesn't tap from colourless, which is a bit annoying. Oh well. A Knight-Errant of Eos would be quite good. We could Convoke that out for potentially 4 next turn. I'll chump with the bat. I can probably give it trample. Another Iganjo is okay. Get another Epicure, and I'm going to keep up Iganjo to take out one of their attackers. Probably the Show Off, as its ability doesn't increase its toughness, although now it might be just be Godric. I'll take the 1. Gleeful Demolition, our own blood token to get 3 little creatures, and then I'll keep up the Ganjo again. Not the most exciting play, but if it keeps some of their creatures back. So they have 1 card in hand, so they can't get much from Prowess. So I will be fine. Double blocking a few things. If they try and buff something, we can. Oh, it's just the Lightning Strike. Going down to 4, which is not a great position to be in. Yeah. They can swing in for, well, at least 1. And that does it, yeah. I mean, we misplayed a bit. We should have been a bit more aggressive earlier. But not getting a Knight-Errant, I think really did it in for us. But anyway, let's move on. We have an okay hand. No Gleeful Demolition, no Knight-Errant, but hopefully we can draw into those. Maybe up against the Nissa combo deck. Well, there's the Knight-Errant. Yep. There it is. Another Epicure. Next turn we can Convoke out the Knight-Errant for 2. But this is going to be a tough matchup because once they can do their combo, They'll just gain so much life. Well, there's a gleeful demolition. And we'll play the veteran. And next turn we can play an Immolane's Recruiter to pump everything and give it haste. Fortunately, it won't make anything big enough to take out their creatures. I'm going to play out the Evangelist because then next turn they'll be out. They're going to, I think, sacrifice one of their aftermath analysts and probably sacrifice a second one. So I'm going to swing in with the Knight-Errant. Yeah, it blocks and then just sacrifices it. So we're going to gain a bunch of life and get a bunch of mana. And if they just play Nissa and then sacrifice a second analyst. But they don't have out a Spelunking yet to make the lands enter untapped. And next turn we can play a Recruiter, and then when we attack with the Evangelist as well, it'll give everything else +1/+1 for a total of +2/+0. Don't mind Memory Deluge. Means they haven't got what they need. There's Nissa. And they do have the mana now to sacrifice the second analyst. But things don't enter untapped. So that's going to gain a bunch of life. We might still have enough for lethal. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 power. Plus 15, plus 18, 21, 24, 25, because then it gets 1/1. Yeah, so we have over 30. We have over 30 power. It's just how long does this go on for? So we'll get to a stage where we just don't have enough basic lands. So they have 7 mana, so they can Memory Deluge or get down whatever they want. Okay, that makes our plan a lot harder. We've only got 4 cards left, and we know one's a Nissa. They can play the Analyst. So I'm going to play the Warden. And I will play the Recruiter. Going to grow the Warden just so it can attack past the Nissa. Don't need a Plains. They can chump something, which is annoying. Well, not chump. They can just block most of my creatures because they took out the Evangelist. Yeah. Down to 7, but they've got so much mana, and they're going to be able to rotate through their Evangelist, their Analysts. And then probably attack for a great big World Souls Rage. Virtual Strength triples all their basic land mana production. So they still have 2, 5, 8, 24, 26 mana left. Now they're going to have even more. So that's 6 times the mana. So they have like 37 mana left. Yeah, there we go. That was unfortunate. We just couldn't get our stuff going quick enough, and I think that deck is a bit broken because it only really needs 2 cards, and Wizards doesn't like 2 card combos anymore, but that is a 2 card combo, so let's move on. We have a bit of a slow hand. We have no turn to play. No Knight-Errant. We are on the draw, so we could give it a go. Hopefully we draw into something useful. That's not necessarily it. Might end up just sacrificing the blood token. Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice a blood token. Picture Plains probably. They've got a Denic. Odd they didn't attack, but they've got something to cause a stick. And they may not be paying attention. Oh great, another land. It's not what we needed. We've got 23 lands in our deck and we've seen 6 of them. Another recruiter is not the worst, but it's not fantastic. Okay. They counter that. I imagine they just leave up another counter spell. So they let that go. We'll do this now and pitch the Mirax to see if we get something playable. War Leader's Call is good for next turn, even though I imagine it will get countered. Let's see what they've got for this. Oh, I didn't counter that. There was a stick though. Just a cut down. And another one. Maybe their hand's just full of removal. They don't want to waste on 1/1s. Which is understandable, but it's good to get them out of their hand. I'm just going to do the same again. We'll play out the Aganjo. Because then if they do try and No More Lies the War Leader's Call, we can pay for it then. It does seem like they've just got a hand of removal. And they're a Fiend. So they are a Connive deck, but they are tapped out of blue mana, which is good. What we can do, play the War Leader's Call and Immodane's Recruiter in the same turn. And swing in. So, War Leader's Call. Immodane's Recruiter. Ping them for 1. Swing in. They've got to go for the throat. Yep. Still, we get them down to 7. They're definitely be able to get some life back, but we can play out the Novice Inspector, then the Immodane's Recruiter next turn. They destroy into more removal. They discard 2 land and a No More Lies. Another Denic. So we have 7. We need... I was wondering if we could pump out a Mirax token, but we can't. They might have another No More Lies. Which we can pay for and still get down the Recruiter. Ping them for 1. Gain a life. I was thinking of investigating just to see if we were cracking the clue to see if we got a... Oh, well, they scooped anyway. Did we have lethal? They had 1 blocker and would gain 2 life. So let's say they block the Immodane's Recruiter. They gain 2 up to 12. 3, 6, 9. Yes, we definitely did have lethal. So, bit of a slow start from both of us, really. But we managed to get there in the end. So, let's move on. We have a very similar hand to last game. We can get down the Epicure. We are on the play this time. Probably, if we don't draw a turn to play, crack the blood to discard maybe a Sekenzin. But we'll see what we draw. An Evangelist and Immodane's Recruiter can help pump up the team. This. Okay, a new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I'm going to get down the tap land, and then I will just crack the blood and get rid of the Sekenzin, I think. That's fine. Play out the Mirex and play out the Evangelist. I won't swing in because part of me wonders if they've got Resolute Reinforcements. They could have Nurturing Pixie, there we go, as a way to bounce their Knight-Errant or their Immodane's Recruiter. A War Leader's Call would be quite good. Pump all our team. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We really need to find one of our Knight-Errants. If they get another Nurturing Pixie, they can bounce their Knight-Errant. We'll hold up the Resolute Reinforcements and the Iganjo. The Ganjo can take out the Knight-Errant. Although it looks like they are going to be bouncing their Knight-Errant, yeah. That's a decent little combo. Well, just more land. That is not what we wanted. Problem is, they're just going to swing in with their... they'll play their Immodane Recruiter and just swing in. Yeah, that was a very fast start from our opponent in a mostly mirror match. Yeah, we still enjoy our Knight-Errant, which seems to be a problem that's happened quite a lot in our games. But anyway, let's move on. No white mana, that's an issue. So that's an easy mulligan. No red mana, but no red mana cards in our hand. We will get rid of the Evangelist. At least we can Knight-Errant. We'll play out the Resolute Reinforcements. See what we find. A Warden and another Resolute Reinforcements. We still don't have any red mana, so we can't play anything else. Another Show Off. And a Commando to grow them both. Play out the Warden. And then we may as well swing in. We'll play out the Resolute Reinforcements just so we can tap to grow the Warden, although I have a Seeking Suspicion. We're dead, that's not an untapped red source, which is not what we want. Another Show Off. A Phoenix Chick. No, I don't think we're dead quite yet. Untapped red? No. Well, there's the untapped red source, but I don't think we are surviving. We've got 7 life. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the air. And then Commando comes down. Keep back the Warden to block Commando. But unless they have 2 lands in hand, I'm fairly sure we are dead. They just need 1. They're attacking cautiously, which tells me they don't have it. Or they have a lightning strike. They don't have it. Well, this might be our lucky day. Yes. We had no right to win that one. We got screwed on land, but then finally pulled through and they didn't draw what they needed. So, a bit surprised, but let's move on. Well, War Leaders call Tron, but I think this is a mulligan. Although if we get the 3rd land, you know what, let's try it. If we get the 3rd land, so we can pump our creatures up, ridiculously so. And if not, depending on what we draw next turn, we can blood away one of them. That's not a bad draw. Get our turn 2 Knight-Errant of Eos. We still need that 3rd land, but at least the Inspector can help. The Inspectors can help us get them. That's a big chick. Well, we have lethal on board. Even if we don't draw a third land. I don't think they can do 14 to us. Well, yeah, and we had enough. We had 4, 7, 8, 9. We had exactly lethal, and then we could have played the War Leader's Call because we drew the untapped land to pump everything. So yeah, quick game. I think both of us only had 2 land, but when it goes off, it goes off. Let's move on. Hello, Magic fans, and welcome back to the wrap up. As you can see, we played 11 games with this with only a 45% win rate, which is not fantastic. On the play, we had a 50% win rate, and on the draw, we had a 25% win rate. And the extra game that's not counted there, the opponent scooped within 20 seconds. So that doesn't count in that. I think one of the big problems was, for a long time, we just didn't see a Knight-Errant of Eos in our games, or a Gleeful Demolition. I think I only saw Gleeful Demolition 3 or 4 times out of the 11 games. And if you don't draw your main pieces, then you're going to struggle. And you know, there was one game, a mirror match, where you know they drew everything they needed and got what they needed out really quickly, and we didn't. And you're never going to win that race if you don't get your pieces. But when it does happen, it's very powerful. In one of the games, we did Convoke out a Knight-Errant on turn 2, and in our final game, we actually had 3 War Leaders Call in our hand at the start, and we were going to get them out and just blow our opponent away. So a fun deck. It can be a powerful deck. I might tinker with it a bit. There was a mirror match where they played a new fairy card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which is a 1 mana. When it comes down, you can return another non-land permanent you control to your hand, and they used it to bounce the Knight-Errant to the Convoke it again, which seemed very powerful. So I might have a look at it again and take out another one of the 1-drops. Maybe the Warden. I'm not a massive fan of the Warden. I know it can grow really big and it starts as a 1/2, but you need at least 2 other creatures on the board to make it happen. And then against someone like Mono Red, you don't really have the time to tap everything on your board, including the Warden, to grow it. So, you know, in an ideal world, it's great, but it just doesn't really work in reality, in my opinion. But I had fun playing this deck, and I'll carry on tinkering with it and see what I can do with it. But thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like and subscribe. It does wonders for the channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.